Hey, everybody. I think I'm live, but y'all always know I have to check first. So I'm definitely checking to make sure that I'm live and that we are simulcasting in multiple places. I am. The title of this live says Entrepreneurship Equals Activism, Things Black Entrepreneurs Should Be Doing Right Now. I'm going to be having a conversation with some very amazing female leaders that I'm going to bring into the fold. Darnell Jervey Harmon is going to facilitate this conversation. I encourage you, if you are a Black or African American, however you identify, entrepreneur in business, or you seek to be an understanding of our world at this time, regardless of your race, and I invite you to this conversation, no matter where you're viewing it. I'm April Franks. For those of you who don't know, I own a coaching practice where I help women build tribes and launch their product, services, and events. This conversation is necessary because we are experiencing a time in our world that we have not in a very long time, and these changes, shifts, and conversations need to be had, both from a leadership perspective and from a Black experience perspective as well. And so I invite you to be a part of this conversation. If you are inside of my Community Domination Nation, I encourage you to tag your the people that you are familiar with here. If you're inside on my personal page, share this. If you're looking at this on YouTube, share the link with a couple of your business friends. If you are a part of the tribes of the women that I'm about to bring on, then I also encourage you to do the same. I'm going to be bringing to you Darnell Jervey Harmon, Doreen Rainey, and Lucinda Cross here momentarily. And we're going to be talking about some things that we think are really necessary for us to continue to move forward in the upward direction. So with that being said, I'm going to bring on our moderator as soon as she gives me the cue. But I want to say the reason why we are having this conversation, and thank you so much for being here, is because like many of you, me personally, I am, and by many of you, I mean many of you Black Americans, many of you white Americans who are exhausted of the conversation, but also are in business and are seeking to leverage. And how do you show up? You know, there's so many unanswered questions, and there's conversations that people are having privately, and we want to put these conversations in the forefront. And the reason why we want to do that is because in our leadership and the people that are connected to our tribes individually, we still have to lead, right? We still have businesses that we're running. And there is still a movement greater than all of us that collectively need all of us in order to move forward so that we really get what we're seeking, which is equality at the end of the day. But we want to have a really candid conversation with you today. So I'm going to bring on our moderator, Darnell Jervey Harmon. She can share a little bit about her as we bring on the other panelists.
Hey. Hello, everyone. Darnell Jervey Harmon here. I am the CEO of Incredible One Enterprises, where we help entrepreneurs, six-figure entrepreneurs, leverage and scale themselves to seven-figure CEOs. And I'm excited to be joined today by some powerful women, women period, but women who happen to also be Black women. And we want to have a conversation with you today that is... I'm sorry, my TV just restarted. Well, we're live, people. We're live. We want to have a conversation with you today about how to maximize what's going on right now. What's really important for us, the four of us, all of us having our own communities and adding value to the world, is to give you tips and strategies so that you can maximize this season and not be consistently distracted by things that none of us have the ability to change in and of this moment. But because we are entrepreneurs, we have the ability to be activists in our own way, right? By building businesses that serve us financially and spiritually and making great money, we will have money to be the change that we want to see in the world. Being the change first in the work that we do day in and day out, and then being the change by taking our change that we earn in our businesses and giving it to the causes that are on the front line fighting for us. So I'm excited to welcome to the stage Doreen Rainey. I'm going to give Doreen a moment to introduce herself while I go turn my television off. So Doreen, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to this conversation. I am Doreen Rainey, the Radical Success Coach, and I am an entrepreneur. I'm a Black woman. I'm a wife. I'm a sister. I'm a friend, and I'm excited to be a part of this conversation. At the Radical Success Institute, we help people define success for themselves and get the guts to go after it. And we do that by, number one, certifying life coaches in our radical method, because I believe, I've always believed in the power of life coaching, personal development, personal growth. But I am more committed and more excited about this profession. If there was ever a time that life coaches were needed, if there was ever a time where we need to step in and help people create authentic goals and figure out how they can make a purpose-driven contribution to what's happening first and foremost in their family, and then in their business, and then in their communities, and ultimately the world, that time is now. And so we also help people move from information gatherers to action takers. And this has been a period of action in so many ways and for so many people. But if you have been living, hanging out in that information gathering stage, that analysis paralysis stage, that fear stage, then we help people through our coaching move from that to action taker, understanding what those fears, what those barriers, what those challenges are. And so I'm excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to what we'll be sharing today with these amazing ladies that I get to hang out with.
Yeah, we are pretty cool, aren't we? Thank you, Doreen, for taking a moment and just introducing yourself. Next, I want to head on over to Lucinda Cross, who is driving. And I think that Lucinda, while she's driving, she can still tell us a little bit about herself. So Lucinda, just tell everybody who you are in your own words.
Yes, I'm hands-free. No driving, no driving. I'm in the passenger seat.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes, on mommy duty. But this conversation is extremely important, especially because I have young Black children that I'm raising to be wealth builders and creating a legacy. But my name is Lucinda Cross. If you don't know me, I'm known as the Activator. Hello, let's activate, not procrastinate. And what we do with Activate Worldwide is just help those entrepreneurs who are considered the best kept secret. We show you how to create a platform so that you can build your credibility, visibility, and also profitability from your platform and your message. And so I'm just excited to be able to use and share my thoughts and perspective on what's happening in today's society on this panel with you lovely boss queens.
Awesome. So what I would love to have us do now is just the four of us, and we also have a member of our mastermind who isn't present. So shout out to Ms. Zenobia Andrews, another powerful woman who isn't able to be with us at this point. She may pop in and join us, but the five of us are constantly interacting with one another and constantly trying to figure out how to serve and support you guys better, right? We are as frustrated as you are. We are feeling what you are feeling, but we also at the same times are building our businesses and not losing a step with everything that's going on in the world. And we thought that it would be pretty awesome and cool if we could come to you and allow you to kind of be a fly on the wall for the conversations we have amongst ourselves about what we are doing right now that is helping us to manage and mitigate what's going on in the world, but use our businesses as the primary tool that we're utilizing to be the change that we want to see. And so we've been talking about this for, I don't know, weeks. Weeks we've been trying to have this conversation with you guys, and we're all busy. You know, everybody's running their own 7-figure business. So we're all busy. And we finally said, I think it was actually Lucinda who said, you know what, we just going to do it on Super Soul Sunday. So Oprah, thank you for allowing us to have this conversation on your Super Soul Sunday, because we want you guys to win. And we want for you to be set up to truly take your businesses to whatever your next level is. And we don't want you to be distracted by the ignorance that is going on right now. You know, as a Black woman, if you are a Black woman having this conversation, listening in, this is our life. We've been dealing with this the whole time, right? This isn't new to us. This is something that we've been experiencing. And somehow, some way, despite the fact that every single one of us is a Black woman, we've been able to amass a significant amount of success, right? And we know success is subjective. So April, I would like to have you just kind of start. Our theme today is that entrepreneurship is activism. So from your vantage point, what is one thing that every single person who is listening now or catching the replay, #replay, if you happen to listen back to this conversation, needs to be focused on so that they are not distracted by what is going on in the world, so that their businesses can continue to position themselves to set them up to experience life at their next level?
You know, when I think about what's happening, and I first have to say, I'm so honored to be Black in America right now.
Yeah.
I am so proud of us. I am so proud of the people that are out on the front lines. I'm so proud of the people that are writing checks for the people out on the front lines. I'm so proud of the moms and the dads that are having conversations with their children. I'm so proud of those entrepreneurs who are being even more innovative in this time of need in different ways that we see opportunities. And so I want to first say that I'm really proud. And I'm really motivated in a way that I hadn't been motivated. I don't know if I've ever been this motivated before to succeed, you know? And so to me right now, what I'm focused on, and I hope that you all take something from just my part of this journey, is I'm focused on fortifying my household. I'm focused on educating myself on the issues. I'm focused on how am I building a more successful business that employs more people, that adds to their household, that strengthens the economy. That's what I'm focused on. Yeah. Now, it's not that, you know, let me just share with you. I mean, I've been pissed off during this season. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I have cried more over the last 2 or 3 weeks than I have in a long time, especially around someone who's passing. I have had more racial conversations with both white and Black people than I ever have had over these past few weeks. And I think I have lost more people, what I call on the fringe, over the last couple of weeks. And with all that being said, at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, what is it that we actually need? And for me and my contribution, very much so, entrepreneurship equals my form of activism, from the standpoint of empowering the 97% of Black women that are following me, the 99% of Black women who are our clients and customers, and the other the minority percentage of people, and educating them as well. And so it's so important to me that I'm focused on fortifying my house, me, what's happening in my household, and that extension then becomes my community. Well, how am I? Because first, put the mask on yourself first, right? I can't save the world if I'm over here tore down and raggedy. Right. And so, Darnell, for me, it really is about what do I need to do to be the best advocate in my business, the best advocate for people of color, for Black people, for myself, and how do I not get caught up in being just pissed off?
Right.
Because there's a lot of that.
Yeah. And I mean, you said so many really powerful things. I just want to pull on a few things that you said. For those of you who are taking notes, it starts at home, right? And whatever the makeup of your home situation is and everything that is comprised in that, you have to decide. Everything starts with a decision. And so you have to make a decision. And it could be a tough decision right now, because everywhere you turn, things that are happening are caused to create more disruption, right? And that disruption can take you off your game and keep you from being able to rise up and show up the way you're supposed to if you are not careful. So it's a decision, as April said, that she's going to take care of home first, and that she's going to work. She's going to show how she is participating in what's going on by being the best. I say all the time, I think everybody probably has said it at some point in time in their life, I can show you better than I can tell you. And so now is not the time for lip service. Now is the time for action, right? Lucinda, I'm coming to you next because we're talking about activating. So what is one thing that everybody who's going to take April's advice and decide that they're going to start at home and look at their business, their family, the way they're contributing to the causes that are important to them, the way they're showing up in their community, how can they activate? How can they take specific actions that brings and reinforces the decision to start at home?
It's all about, for me, the lack of power. So how can you gain power? And what I realize, even with a lot of business owners, and what you can begin to do now, is to put your brand and your business in a position of power, even within your own household. But there's certifications. Many of us are not certified. We haven't taken the opportunity to get the piece of the quote unquote American pie. But we're more of the Black consumers versus the Black investors, the Black philanthropists, the Black producers. So count yourself in, just like they do the census, count yourself in by becoming certified, so that your numbers count, your business counts, your brand counts. It has to be bigger than IG followers. It has to be bigger than Facebook groups. Your numbers and your business should, the one thing that I would say is make sure you have your business in order, because with all of this money that is being given out now, and one thing that I'm doing is charging a lot of the larger companies in the Fortune 500s and 250s that I'm in partnership with and that work with me. I'm asking, what is it that you're doing for the community? But in turn, in order for me to share the plate, I have to also be connected to people who are in a position to eat. And so if you're not certified, if your paperwork is not right, if your finances is not in order, if your bank accounts are not correct, your payroll information is not right, you may be missing out on having the Black power that we need to not just be seen as consumers, but investors, philanthropists, and producers.
That's so good, Lucinda. And you're right. Like, I was having a conversation in another group, just asking people how many people got money from either EIDL or PPP. And the vast majority of the people didn't even apply because they didn't have their stuff together. Now, for me, I don't know about you guys, but that makes me cringe. As a business strategist, as a woman who makes it her mission to turn entrepreneurs into CEOs and show them how to build the right infrastructure for their business so that their business serves them, like, I was aghast. And it's so frustrating. So I agree with you wholeheartedly, Lucinda, that we have got to see ourselves as business people. Y'all are getting pissed off and frustrated. Y'all unsubscribing and asking for your money back and cussing people out online, and your business ain't even sound. Right? Remember, entrepreneurship is activism. The way that we show as Black people, as Black business owners of color, that that was crazy. But anyway, y'all get what I'm trying to say. That we matter is that our businesses are serving us. I went to the doctor last week, I think it was, and normally when I go, I don't see the main doctor. I see like a practitioner. And so this particular time, I guess my doctor was in the office because he came in and he just wanted me to know that he believed that Black lives matter, which I was appreciative of. And so then he said to me, "Did you go and protest?" And he said, my older children went out and they stood for you. And I was like, "Oh, that's really nice. Did you go and protest?" And I was like, "No, I didn't. Let me tell you how I protest." And I said, I protest by growing my business. To Lucinda's point, to April's point, I protest by making sure my business is tight. We got EIDL and PPP money at Incredible One Enterprises, right? I employ people. That's how I protest. I make amazing money in my business so that I could go and donate $5,000 to the Minnesota Fund, because that's what I was able to do, so that I could give $3,000 to Black Lives Matter. That's what I was able to do because I'm working my business, because Darnell is not a frontline protester. She's not. That's not, I don't like large crowds. It's just not for me, but my cause for my people is important, because I'm going to be Black until I die. And I don't ever want to be considered to have to die because I'm Black. I want to be a moniker of excellence. I want to show that we have every right to aspire to whatever it is that we aspire to. So Lucinda is right. So for those of you who are with us now in the chat, if your business is tight, and here's what I mean by tight. You have your EIN number. You're at least an LLC. You are producing profit and loss statements on a monthly basis, ideally by the 5th business day of the new month, so that you can use your statements to see what has gone awry in your business and use your numbers to get your business on track. If that is who you are, sound off for us in the chat. We want to know that you guys are taking this seriously, because this is an opportunity to really step up. Doreen talks all the time about all the information. If you're in April's community, if you're in Doreen's community, Lucinda's or mine, we give you our Mac Daddy vibe. Shout out to Boomerang, right? Y'all remember that movie? This is our Mac Daddy vibe that we're giving you. It's lots of information, but the only way that information produces activation and puts you in a position to take care of your house first is if you learn how to synthesize that information to actually produce results. So now I'm coming to you, Doreen, because Doreen is the queen of radical transformation, to go from information gatherer to actually implementing and receiving results. Doreen, what do you have to add to the conversation?
Well, first of all, I'm just over here getting so pumped up just by listening to all of you who have already shared. And I will say that, well, first of all, a couple of things. So to Darnielle's point, when she said, I'm not a frontline protester. So inside of our community, I've been talking with them a lot about leadership and a lot about taking up space. If you remember the Miss Universe pageant, right? That incredible answer she gave about being a leader and taking up space. And when it comes to your activism, one of the things that we all have to remember is that we take up space based on our purpose and our gifts and our talents. And when we contribute that to the cause, then amazing things happen because we've covered everything. And so, when you're looking at equality and inclusion and all the things that we fight for, we need people in all areas. We need the healers. We need the visionaries. We need the front line. We need the disruptors. We need the entrepreneurs. We need the corporate employees. We need the people in entertainment. And so this is an all hands on deck call to action. And so whatever way you use your purpose, your talents, and your gifts to contribute, know that you are making a difference. And know that if someone contributes to the cause differently from you, then it's still a contribution. It still matters and it still makes a difference. And that is so key to remember, because I've cried more in the last 3 weeks. I've been sad. I've been angry. I've been pissed. I've been like, just don't let me get arrested today, right? I mean, we all feel it. And for us, one of the ways, because you can be a contributor to the cause in multiple ways, one of the ways is around this thing called entrepreneurship. And as a life coach in my soul, right? I mean, that's who I am, like deep down. I can tell you how to make money. I can tell you how to grow your business. I can tell you how to create a funnel. But the truth is, in my 14 years of business, what has made me the most sad is the number of people who get the funnels and who get the marketing and who get the messaging. But because of their fears, because of their doubts, because of their story, because of their money story, they aren't able to do what it is they already know to create the results that they want. And now, more than ever, if you still are stalled, right? We've got this international call to action. And as entrepreneurship, as a Black entrepreneur, to be able to go out there and create money, right? I teach my people that as an entrepreneur, you've made a decision that you can create money.
Whenever you want.
When you are an employee, you make money. You get an exchange for your time and your skill. When you're an entrepreneur, you create money. And now is the time where if your part of this contribution is to fund the cause, we need to create more money. And we do that through entrepreneurship. So I want to challenge all of you that if you are still fear, judgment, procrastination, whatever those things are, to focus on your personal growth and your personal development so that you can personally grow and develop your business. And for many of us who struggle in that area, it's because we're not willing to look in the mirror and face who we are, right? Who we are and why we are. and to be able to be walked through a process where you can not only discover who you are and why you are, but then you can amplify the things that work for you, and then you can mitigate, eliminate, manage, or overcome those barriers that have held you back. I know people in Darnielle's and April's, and I know people in a whole bunch of communities, and we all have such great contributions to your growth. But what I don't like to see is people who just bounce from community to community, from program to program, from coach to coach, because you will not deal with your personal growth.
Yeah.
And that's
so good, Doreen.
Yeah. And
I think that's a great place for us to put a pin and talk about that for a few moments, because I think part of the reason why people are being so easily distracted right now, and please don't misunderstand any of us, right? We purposely didn't want this conversation to be another conversation of anger over what's going on, because we know that it hasn't stopped, right? But because we don't know when it's going to stop, we still have a responsibility as business owners to lead.
That's right.
And if we're going to lead, we need to lead ourselves first, right? April talked about starting at home. Doreen said your personal development is going to shore up your business's development. But if you're not looking in the mirror, I had Donald Morton on my podcast. I have this call right now. I'm featuring positive Black men on my podcast right now. And one of the things Donald Morton said last week, which is still ruminates in my spirit, which is why I'm going to share. He said, we spend too much time looking out the window and not enough time looking in the mirror. Right? I say all the time, you cannot have a booming business if you have a busted life. Y'all, we got to do the work.
Come on.
Yeah. And then I wanted to piggyback on what Doreen was saying too. You know, it's like, and you know what? Sometimes when things are so big that are happening outside of us, so let's just go back to COVID. Y'all remember that shit? So back in the day when COVID was, you know, in the news, that disruption really exposed a lot of leaders, whether they were leading or not. In the wake of George Floyd being murdered, that also has exposed a lot of leaders and where people are standing.
Yes.
And both of those pandemics, are bigger than us, right? And we are collectively coming together to help. Same thing with the stay-at-home order, right? Let's collectively do something to solve a problem, right? Let's Black Lives Matter, or whatever movement you're in, whatever conversations, wherever you are at in the process of supporting. Okay, let's come together. This conversation, let's come together in the wake of that. And all of that still comes down to your own personal development. And I was in another group this morning, and someone asked, for those of you who have reached over 7 figures, what book did you read that helped you, blah, blah, blah? And someone responded, it wasn't about a book. It was about my personal development. And I piggybacked on that and said, this is more about you than you might think, because there's so much going on. It's so easy to allow the goodness of it all to distract you from the development that must happen within you in order for you to effectively lead and monetize and show up and share without sounding like an angry Black woman, by the way of which I am. Right? Not in general, right? But sometimes I am.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are, right? With just cause,
yes.
Not just because. No one's walking around mad because they're Black, right? But circumstances and situations do arise, and so I'm just saying, I just want to even more so add some gravy on top of what Doreen put down and saying, even though these things are so much bigger than us, it still boils down to us individually. And I think it's so easy to escape, you know, that whole personal piece when we're, you know, doing the clicks and you're managing the statements and you're doing this and that and the other. And here's the thing, and some people don't think it's not fair because they're like, damn, I got to do this and I need to do this and I need to do that. Yes, boo, you do.
Right. Welcome to leadership. How about that?
Yes, boo, you do. Yes, boo, you do. You might have to pick this up off the floor from last night, from watching something that triggers you.
Right.
So you can wake up and lead today.
Right.
That means you may have had to meditate or pray or whatever it is that you do to center yourself. You may have had to have a conversation with a parent or a best friend, whatever that looks like. You know, no one, because I don't want y'all to get it twisted who's watching this. Don't think that we are robots and machines and we just out here trying to run the business. No, I was fucked up for a minute.
Oh, me too. I mean, I couldn't even formulate my thoughts. I was so bad.
Yes,
I had to beg my husband not to leave the house so that his compliance wouldn't be perceived as resistance. Because he wanted to drive straight into the riots and protests in Wilmington. I was like, literally turn on the waterworks so I could get him to stay home. So no, I'm mad too. But I know that me being an angry, cussing everybody out on a Facebook Live ain't solving the problem, ain't helping anything. And April had already done that. And she did a great job, by the way.
Yeah. Whenever I feel like cussing
yes, she did.
I'll just share April.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Perfectly said.
We got other things to talk about. And so instead of doing all of that, we decided as a collective that we wanted to have a conversation that was real, that was raw, and that was relevant, but more importantly, was going to give you the ammunition to be able to really make the change. And I keep using that Gandhi quote because we do, as entrepreneurs, have the opportunity to be the change we want to see. As Black entrepreneurs, we have the ability to change some stuff. And the way we do that is by identifying our core values and establishing our businesses to serve in those core values. So what I want to do now, I know April, she knows hers by heart. Every time I be like, what's your core value? She'd be like, blah, 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 blah. So what I want to do now is I'm
that's her word.
about your core values and how now during this heightened sense of personal development and leadership, you are allowing those core values to show up. And those of you who are with us, put your core values in the chat if you know them. And if you do not know them, I implore you to go deep and to go inward to figure out what are the guiding posts of who you are so that you can make sure that those things are showing up in your business. This should be the foundation of your brand. So April, I'm going to start with you. What are your core values and how are you leveraging them right now?
Sure. So integrity, results, commitments, transparency are really important to my brand. And starting with integrity and transparency, right? You know, are we doing what we say we will do? Let me give you an example. In integrity, when COVID first happened, we had committed to giving away $100 every single week to someone in our community that was in need, a gift card for the groceries, right? Well, with everything the other things that we were doing as a part of that ball got dropped. So then when we recognized, oh my God, this didn't happen, this needs to happen. So we got on it and we gave away one for every week on the same day. We allowed people to apply. We sent them all out. We chose 10 people for the 10 weeks. We made the gift cards $125. We mailed them the very next day. Integrity. Do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Right? Even when nobody's looking, because that's what integrity is. Even when no one said, hey, April, what happened to that thing? No, April read and said, oh, hell, we forgot to send out the gift cards for the people that needed them the most.
Yeah.
And that's integrity, right? That's how it shows up. Commitment. I am committed to helping entrepreneurs leverage entrepreneurship and create their own wealth, manage and create your own economy. How am I doing that? I got to be committed to that, right? And so following through on that. Results. Y'all know that's all I care about, right?
Right. That's why you said it twice.
You know, and impact. Impact is one of our other, we have 5. Impact. Are we making an impact? So for us, these things are important to why I get up and do this in the morning, even when I don't feel like doing it. It's when I would rather be spending time with my mama or my man or my granddaughter or my family or with y'all and taking that step back, right? Because we want to make an impact. And what does that look like? And it's not just saying it and having a lip service, but what are we actually doing out there? And so, Darnell, that's how we tie in our core values with the brand.
Awesome. Good stuff. Lucinda?
Yes, I kind of mentioned them earlier. It's being not just being a consumer, but consumers, investing, philanthropy, and producing. And so just to, that as an example, we're committed to buy Black, not just Black, but as we were talking, Danielle, Black excellence, right? So it's not just doing the homegirl hookup. I'm not asking for a hookup. I'm not asking for a discount. I feel that every Black excellence CEO in business deserves to be compensated for the value that they bring to the table. But I'm also expecting quality as well. So we're committed every week, and we've been doing it, I think, almost like every other day now, within our own group as well, just buying Black and exposing some of these Black business owners that if they weren't exposed before, they're exposed now. And so that's one of our give backs in terms of consuming, but also even investing in our community. I'm big on the community, especially for formerly incarcerated women. I feel that they are getting the short end of the stick because they don't fit in any bracket right now and are being overlooked. So we're also committed to making sure that we're still able to employ them thanks to the PPP loans, and we had our paperwork together. Thanks to other, we just started saying yes, and now we got to say no to certain things. So, but taking that investment money to still employ and support. You have groceries, you have underwear,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Some don't even have panties, and so just make sure that they have the things that they need as well. So that's our core values, and that's how we're supporting and doing the work.
Awesome. Doreen?
So, our values, our lead word for our values is clarity. And so we have clarity of purpose. Like, you've got to have a clear understanding of who you are and why you are. And then we have clarity of freedom. What does freedom look like for you? Everybody wants freedom. Oh, I want financial freedom. Okay, but are you clear? Like, what is, financial freedom is a number, in case people were wondering, right? And so when you say you want financial freedom, you should be able to articulate a number that goes along with that so that when you actually become financially free. Clarity of transformation. Transformation, especially in the life coaching world, is thrown around so much. But transformation means permanent change.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I discipline myself to a result.
Yeah.
And once I experienced that result, my discipline went away and I fell back into old habits.
Yeah.
Anybody can discipline themselves out of debt. They can discipline themselves to a great launch.
That's
They can
good. That's good.
That is good.
Discipline themselves to losing weight.
That's real good.
But if you aren't transformed from the inside out, you're subject to 3 years being out of debt, being back in debt.
Right.
You're subject to losing the weight, gaining the weight back.
Yeah.
You're subject to, man, I crushed that launch, right? But man, it took, all the discipline you had, and you haven't been able to repeat it since.
Yeah.
And so are you disciplining yourself to results, or have you transformed yourself? And so the clarity of what that actually looks like for you. Those are some of our core values, and the clarity of it that makes a difference for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And then for me, I think all of my values have already been spoken by the ladies, which is part of the reason why we are who we are and we are who we are together. But I would definitely say integrity, number one. If you want to piss me off, don't go back on your word. And I'm like you, April. If I said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, even if I really don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But if I said it, I'm going to do it, because what is the saying? Your word is your bond, right? So that's all I know. Excellence, communication, significance is something that's important to me. And love is another one of my core values. And so, and in love, I serve, and I like to over deliver, just because I can. A lot of people overcompensate because they don't believe that it's worth it. No, I'm clear on my worth, but I over deliver because I want to show people that they matter to me, that I love them. I honestly have love in my heart for everyone. And that's one of the things that I do. I think the other thing that we're doing right now is just being a beacon of inspiration, being the light in the dark, because there's a lot of darkness right now. And it's so easy to be with the dark, to be pissed off and be angry, because we have every right to be.
Yeah.
Right? But we need more people to shine their light and to offer something of value right now, so that we don't keep this ricochet going, because the downside of the situation of staying in the dark is that eventually all of the darkness dissipates and it's like you never even happened.
Yeah.
And we're not changing anything if it's like we never even happened. Right? We all have a responsibility to speak up and to use our voice so that people understand that we do matter, but we're also doing something positive with what it is that we have to say. And that's why I enjoy spending time with each of these ladies, because not only are they about their business, but they're about you guys. Mm-hmm. Like, y'all don't even know the amount of conversations we have that are about you. The stupid things you do, the amazing things you do, the things we wish you didn't do. It's all because of you, because we really care about the way you're showing up in the world. We care about your businesses. We care about your desires to change your life, to get some of that permanent change that Doreen was just speaking about. All of those things are very, very important to us. I just wanted to quickly read some of the comments we have in the chat. People are here saying, Andrea T. Martin says, I'm loving this much needed dialogue. Thank you, ladies. A Facebook user, I guess if you haven't given StreamYard permission to broadcast your name, they won't broadcast your name, but she said, yes, be a person of your word. Janelle said, I love that financial freedom is a number. Kim says, woo, ladies, all of this, just yes. So we just thank you guys for being here and being with us. And we're not done yet. We have a few more topics that we want to talk about. We want to talk about, I want to talk about, April, I think you said this. It was Doreen who said it. So Doreen, I'm going to have you lead with it. And we've talked about it a little bit, but you haven't yet said what you said when we were talking the other day. Don't be mad, contribute. Mm-hmm. So how do we shift from the anger that we all have the right to feel into a significant contribution that's other than some of the things that we've said already? Right. What else can you add to that will help to give these people who are listening right now some action steps, some things that they can begin to do beyond this conversation, outside of, unsubscribing or leaving groups and cussing people out online? Like, what else can they do to contribute that will serve them in the long term and serve us as a community in the long term?
Yeah. So, we just finished talking about our business goals, but we also should each have some personal values. And my personal values are integrity, respect, and freedom. Mm-hmm. And so when you are angry, you are subject to act out of your values. Mm-hmm. And when you are subject to act out of your values, you're subject to experience some consequences that can take you way off your purpose, way off track. Mm-hmm. And so through all of this, the first thing I keep doing is coming back to my values. How in all of this can I still honor the respect, the integrity, and the freedom that means the most to me? And how can I transfer that into all of the different areas of advocacy that we talked about earlier? And I think that advocacy should be a line item in your life budget. And I think for many people, it hasn't been. And it's not that we haven't done the things. It's not that we haven't helped or contributed or maybe spoken out. But I think for the vast majority of us, advocacy has been something that they do. And we support it, but it's for them to do. And I think one of the things that we need to be clear about is advocacy is now a part of my life. And it gets time, it gets resources, it gets energy, it gets all the stuff that I give to all of the other line items in my life, my business, my family, my finances. And so we get to decide, how do we want to use this new line item called advocacy?
Yes.
And the spectrum is broad. The spectrum is broad. I heard years ago, someone said, listen, I know a guy who is running a soup kitchen, and every day he is feeding the homeless. Every day he is serving food. And I know another guy who would never, that's just not him, serving in a soup kitchen. Right. But the guy writes the check for the soup that guy serves.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we can be judgmental, right, based on where we fall on the spectrum about who's writing checks and who's on the front line. We need it all.
Yes.
We need it all. Everybody has
So
to
true.
go up and play their part. And so I'm going to challenge.
That's so true.
I'm going to challenge you. What is your advocacy going to be? Is it going to be something on the front lines? Is it going to be working with a nonprofit? Is it going to be making financial donations? Is it going to be partnering with other nonprofits? Is it going, like, what is it going to be? And then follow through on your word.
Yes.
Person up your values. You know, it's funny, we talk about integrity, and, you know, integrity is really strong for me. And I am, you know, people in my community, they know that. And whenever I do, you know, client evaluations, you do a program and you give people their survey, their feedback. Well, my evaluations, my survey starts with their self-evaluation. Mm-hmm. Did you show up for your call? Did you turn in all of your work? Did you show, like what responsibility did you take? Before you start giving feedback to me, let's have a conversation feedback on your level of integrity. Right. And I need to take that same approach into our advocacy.
I love that. I love that so much. I think that just to add on to that, I think that really adding advocacy as a line item, and what you said about not judging how other people choose to advocate. And I just have to say this: mind your effing business. Like, if you would just do what you do, just do that and be focused on that. If people, you know, there is a time, I think, when people, it's too much looking to the left and the right. It's like, if we know what the issues are and we have made these decisions, then let's be about the business of doing that and fulfilling that for the promise that we made, right? That prayer that we said, God, I'm going to do this. Or we said, Lucinda, I'm a girl, I'm going to do this. Whatever that was, we said, honey or husband or whatever, we going to do this. Then be about the business of that, and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. And if you need help and you need people to jump in with your cause, then only be focused on the people willing to be jumping in with your cause. I shared this morning.
That's right.
I shared this morning that I'm not having conversations with people that refuse to understand the issues. Mm-hmm. If a person refuses, that's not my fight. My fight isn't that.
Right.
If someone else chooses to continue to be in the convincing space and have those conversations, that's on them. But I'm not going to spend any of April Franks' energy on refuting that or proving a point. What I am going to do is remember what I said I was going to do and focus about the business of that. And the people that are interested in helping me facilitate that, I'm going to pour my energy and my focus into them. And so, Doreen, I appreciate you saying that in regards to don't be judging what other people are doing. Focus on your own advocacy.
Yeah, I think that's so important, because I think we tend to compare. Everybody is, you know, holding up this ruler to see if they can get an inch greater, instead of just staying in your lane and do your own thing. Like, that's really all you need to do right now, is run your race. Like, literally, I have these glasses on, partly because I didn't really put makeup on my face, but imagine that I have blinders on the sides, right? And I can't look left and right. I'm forced to only move forward. What would it look like? Put this in the chat for us right now. What would it look like in your life and your business? Because life and business are completely congruent. Like I said earlier, you cannot have a booming business if you have a busted life. So if life and business are completely congruent and they're running the same race, what would it look like if you put your blinders on and you just went to work? You just advocated. You just contributed. You just got your systems tight. You just did what it is that you're supposed to do. What would that look like? Put that in the chat for us, and then I'll highlight some people, what they had to say as a part of that. Lucinda, did you have something you were going to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you know, with everything that we're talking about, looking at what happened even from COVID, and now with the social justice system, you know, this is just all about priorities, right? And first things first. And I think a lot of times, even in Black America and even in our own communities, we don't have first things first. It's like first things are second. So it shouldn't have taken COVID for you to realize that your health and your family was important, to lay off of America's system of going to the pharmacy for health care. What Nana already told us about honey, lemon, onion peels, and put your face over it in steam. But we thought she was crazy because it made us think. But it helped us build our immune system. Same thing financially, you know, even with social justice. Some of us, like you said, we wanted to remove the blind. What is everybody else doing? And we go with the wave of what's happening within media. This has been going on in our communities for a very long time. It's just now being publicized. There's Black men being pulled over all the time, convicted all the time for wrong things. Women who are being, you know, whoever her boyfriend is. But I think now it has allowed us, and I'm hoping that it allows us to put priorities first. Put those blinders on. Worry about what you need to do. Worry about what your advocacy looks like. My protest is different. My good friend and sister friend I talk to every other day, Tamika Mallory, that's her thing. Right? My job is to support her in her initiatives, but also what am I able to do in my seat and my position? It may not look different.
Right.
My protest, my fight, my work looks different. And you have to be willing to be okay with that. You don't have to look like what everybody else is doing, but know that your voice matters. Know that what you do matters when you are focused and you have a priority and you're putting, like Doreen said, what is your life like? All right, that part. Like April is talking about, mind your own effing business, right? You know, and then even what you're saying in terms of integrity, who are you and how are you showing up to the table, even within your family and in your business? So I love that. What part do we play in this whole game of life? You know, are you a pawn or are you in position to make some moves? And I think that I love this conversation. I'm fired up.
That's good. That's good too. Yeah, I think we're all fired up. And I think that the perfect thing for us to talk about now, like as we start to round down our time together, but we want to leave you guys with some things you can really do. So we've been talking a lot esoterically, right? So we've been talking about high level what each of us can do. But now we want to start to drill down, and we want to make this about your businesses, right? Because again, the whole point of this conversation is that entrepreneurship is activism. And if we are working our businesses and about our business, then we will be in position to contribute where we need to contribute and advocate where we need to advocate, because we are earning it in our businesses. It is hard to be the change you want to see when you don't have any change, right? Can I get a witness? If I can get a witness, put, yeah, you're right. So it's about getting some change. And so we were talking as a collective about, you know, what we think you guys need to be doing business-wise. So if you've been listening along and enjoying the conversation, but you want some meat that you can chew on long after this conversation is over, grab a pen and grab some paper, because you have 4 powerhouse business leaders that are running 7-figure businesses that are about to drop some science on things you can be doing right now to move that needle in your business, to put you in a position to get to whatever is next and best for you, so that you can truly advocate and contribute the way that you want. And I'm going to kick us off, because I think that the first thing, or the thing that every single one of you needs to be doing right now, is you need to be doing what I'm going to call an audit. And this audit is specifically looking at a few things in your business to make sure that A, they exist, and B, they are as tight as they can be. And if not, you can erect a plan of what you must do to make them tighter.
Yes.
Number 1, you need to be crystal clear. Doreen talked about clarity, right? You need to be crystal clear the problem that you solve. Write this down. If there is no problem to be solved, there is no profit to be earned. What is the problem? If someone wants to put this in the comments, what is the problem that you solve today? And what you need to know is that purpose is always the solution to a problem. So you just showing up in your purpose today is going to solve a problem that is real and relevant and raw right now. So what is the problem that you solve? Number 1, because if you're not solving a problem, then you're not going to be able to earn at a level that's going to allow you to put some aside to be able to advocate. Number 2, once you know the problem that you solve, what is the message that you are going to communicate to the marketplace in order to let the people know that you can solve their problem? Number 2, what is the message that goes with the problem that you are clear that you solve so that you can start to become a broken record in the marketplace. Those are the first two. I don't see, okay, Farida's hooking us up in the chat. What is the problem that you solve today? And then number two, what is the message that you are communicating? If you want to be seen as the only and obvious choice of your most ideal clients that have the problem that you solve, then your message needs to be clear and compelling for that problem. And once you figure out your message, you need to become a broken record. I see some of y'all online, and every time you communicate, you're communicating about something else. Pick your drum and beat the hell out of your drum. You wanted to get to the point where they were like, oh, here she go talking about that activate again. Gosh, I wish she would just go sit down somewhere. She's making me tired. Always talking about activating. You want to be known for that thing, that problem that you solve. And here's why. Because right now, there are people in this world who have made their own decision that from here on out, they are looking for Black businesses that operate in excellence to provide the services that they need for the solutions they are seeking to the problems that they have. And you could be the one that they choose if you are crystal clear about the problem you solve and you are communicating your message consistently in the marketplace. So you need to get on your game to get clear and get your message tight so that you can make your money right. Those are the first two. Who wants to go next?
I can jump in. I can go. I think one of the, that's number 1 and 2. I think number 3 would definitely be understanding economics in your household, right? And I'm going to go back to that. That is, how much money do you have saved? Where is all your money at? Where is all your money going? What about your insurance? What about your credit? What about all the things that comprise your financial health, right? And understanding what is your personal at your house economy look like right now? What is the position of your finances? How fortified are you financially? Yeah. And so that will be my number 3 thing, is really identifying what does your financial makeup look like? And are you happy with it? If you're not, then we got to get into the business of making sure that we start addressing those things. How much debt are you in? Yeah. You know, and I can just share with you all personally, that's one of the things I'm focused on right now, is reducing my debt, leveraging good debt so that I can flip it into bigger and better things and put it back into my house, my community, and the community at large. So that's number 3 for me. My 4th thing would be, and this is something I'm passionate about and I didn't even know I was passionate about this. So shout out to those of you who, as a result of COVID, or as a result of George Floyd, or as a result of Breonna Taylor, or as a result of Ahmaud Arbery, as a result of these individuals, has something new has sparked in you that you didn't even know that you even cared about. And for me, that is banking Black. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. Whether you are white or Black, you can put your money in a financial institution that has Black shareholders, Black owners, Black presidents. I personally have partnered with a bank, and we're going to be bringing more opportunities to Black businesses to help them gain loans, open new accounts, have a better banking relationship with a bank that cares about you. So that's my number 4 thing. So number 3 is getting your financial house in order, doing an assessment, kind of that audit that Darnell was talking about, but for your at home, and banking Black where you can. You don't have to walk into a bank in order to have a good banking relationship. There are Black banks in this country that you can open an account at, sitting from where you're sitting right now, put your savings there or another checking there, move your business money there, and start really developing a relationship with a bank that cares about the issues that you care about. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I would say I'll go next because Doreen just knows how to just seal the deal, lady. But what I would say, one is change your mindset from owning shit to ownership, right? Mm-hmm. And so the power that we need to dominate, activate, be radical, everything is going from owning shit, stuff that really doesn't matter, to start ownership. And start with your business, looking at your life. A lot of us, we are slave drivers to our own business, slave drivers to relationships we're in, slave drivers to children, friendships. So start taking back the power of your life And from a money perspective, think about how can I begin to get in an owner's seat versus being the one that's, you know, being taken advantage of. And so please do that. Audit in your business, edit and look at your business to see where am I missing? Where's the loopholes that I may be missing out in making 6-7 figures, getting partnerships, sponsorships, being a spokesperson for all of these brands. Now the windows, if you look at it, the windows of heaven are open. Everybody is listening and paying attention. So this goes into my number 6, right? Now, 5 is stop owning shit, start ownership. Number 7 is looking at your position and your brand and how and look at your voice. I'm all about that. Where's your message and your voice going to carry you? Are you making sense? And a lot of times we walk over dollars to get coins. And what I mean by that is we don't even understand our own value as a person, and especially as Black women, right? And start to get in your ask mode. Who do you need to connect with next week, next month? What does 2021 look like for you? Like 2020 for me is all about planning and executing and eliminating. 2021, I'm going even harder. And I would have to say, this is one of my strongest years. This is one of my strongest years personally, and one of my strongest years professionally. And it's only June. So right. I'm like, come with it. The windows are open. So I'm making sure that I'm in position and my voice is heard and I'm making sense. And you're not confused on what my brand is bringing to the table. But also, when you come to me, you come into a boss. She's all about owning shit. Not ownership, not owning shit. I don't need no more shit in my life. That part. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Amen. All right, Doreen, you got 7 and 8. What are your 2 tips for right now?
Number 7, piggybacking off of beating that drum. You need to have complete funnels. Danielle, what's the word you use?
Oh, sales cycle, because I don't like funnels.
Right. You need to have sales cycles in your business. And what I mean by that is many people have a lot of stuff they sell. And a lot of times when they're ready to sell that stuff, they make announcements. And you don't drive multiple 5-figure, 6-figure, 7-figure sales by announcing stuff, by posting stuff, by hitting the share button every now and then, by doing a live every now and then. You create real revenue when you have a complete sales cycle. And that is everything from your marketing strategy to your lead magnet, to your nurture campaign, to your offer, to your open cart, close cart, like all of that. And most people don't have that for one of their products or services.
Yeah.
You know, it amazes me when you can tell someone, okay, in order to have a complete sales cycle, here are your 25 steps that you need to do. And then you want to pick and choose. Well, I think I did 1, 4, 7, and 9. But I mean, I know she said I needed to do this type of email or put this type, and I did. Complete sales cycle. And so I'm going to challenge you, if you don't have that, to choose one product or one service and build it completely out. From beginning to end. Entrepreneurship is not about unpredictable income. It's not about unpredictable revenue. It's about the systems and processes and the complete sales cycles you have in place so that you can predict your income and revenue. So that's number 7, predictable income and revenue through a complete sales cycle. And then number 8 is sell. You know, the one phrase I hate is that it takes money to make money. That is not true.
It doesn't,
It takes a sale to make money. And so if you ever find yourself in a situation where you need money, go make a sale.
Girl. And so I always tell people, I always be like, if you would sell some shit, you would have the money.
Right. Nothing happens until somebody sells something.
Right. And for those
who create something to be sold.
And for those of you who are coaching, you always have one-on-one coaching to sell.
Yes, I'll say
Oh,
that.
I get you want groups and you want launches and but the fastest path to cash for a coach is one-on-one coaching.
That's right.
That requires
the most amount of money
out to people. It just required you to start selling, following up, making phone calls. And so, yes, my 2 pieces of business advice is have a complete sales cycle and sell.
Yeah.
And I have to say this. I'm going to say this for all of you. Or for if you're tuning in and you're in my tribe and you don't know Doreen Rainey, Doreen used to be my coach. I was in one of her programs, and let me tell you something. Let me tell you, she's consistent. You want to follow a consistent leader because the same shit she told me that she told you just now is the same thing she told me 7 years ago. The same words. And just so you know, the system is the system. It don't matter. You can look how you want to look. You can have a fancy this or that. At the end of the day, the system is the system, and the process always works when you work the process.
That's right. And I want you to notice that nobody said, go fix your website. I want you to notice that because somebody will get off this call and be like, I need to go to my website and I need to make it look better. No, you don't. Let me tell you what you need to grow your business right now. A telephone, a problem that you solve, and somebody to call. That's all you need. That's all you need.
That's it.
And Doreen alluded to it earlier. Because you are an entrepreneur, you have a printing press out back. You can make money. You can create money whenever you want. What should never be in any of your mouths is that I can't afford it. If you even begin to think I can't afford it, you need to be asking yourself, what can I create right now so that I can afford it?
And not only that, but what is the impact you're making? Because some people aren't motivated by the money. Some of y'all are motivated because you want to make a difference. And so the question becomes, what really is the difference that you're really making? If what you're creating and sitting on your hard drive is not in the hands of the people that you created it for.
That's right.
So whichever one is motivating you, then we got to get to the business of getting it, because the time for talking is over. As you can see, based on our current state of affairs in the world, there is no more room to just talk. We have to be in action mode.
That's right. Good stuff.
Time to show the smoke. And we're too busy talking about the fire's coming. The fire's coming. Time to show the smoke. It's happening.
That's good. Do we have any questions from those of you who are watching? If you would love to take advantage of the expertise that is before you, if you have a question about anything, we'd love to take a few minutes and take some questions. So just comment your question.
While they're putting their questions, I just want to piggyback on what April said about impact. And, I'm a person of faith, and when I have clients that are people of faith and we talk about revenue goals, one of the questions I ask that helps people set their revenue goals is, how much do you want to tithe? Mm-hmm. Because we always talk about, holistically, I want to give, give to charities and be philanthropic. But just like financial freedom has a number to it, your philanthropy has a number to it. Sure. And so if you're not motivated directly by the money, as April talked about, then put a dollar sign on your philanthropy, right? If you want to tithe $100,000 a year, that already tells you something about what your revenue needs to be.
Right.
Right? If you want to donate to Black Lives Matter and you want to every month, I want to give $1,000, that tells you what your revenue target at a minimum needs to be.
Yeah.
And so for some of us, it may not be, wow, how much do I want to make? And sometimes if we got money stories in our head about asking for money, charging, they don't pay you the money they owe you. Like if you got that money story, then one of the ways you can begin the cycle of flipping that is to put the focus on the philanthropy.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Doreen, you and I have talked about this because I didn't even set a revenue goal for my business this year. I set a tithing goal of $250,000. So that's how you know my business needs to do 2.5 million. But I'm giving $250,000 whether my business does it or not. Right? That's the goal that I set. That's my integrity. That's what I want to be able to contribute to the world. But it is a great way to ground yourself in something greater than you, because we don't work, as Lucinda said, just to get stuff. Right? We want to move from owning stuff to ownership.
You see, I've been hanging around April too long. I start cursing.
Listen, yeah, I have to limit my curse words. So I'm gonna slow down because I might need it later.
Wait. You know what? Let me tell y'all something. And this is why I love being me, because everybody has their thing, and I know exactly who I am. I know it's not for everybody. You know, I know I'm the colorful language chick. You know, I mean well. You know, take it how you want to take it. But I think this has been a very valuable conversation for us to have. And again, because we, as Darnielle was sharing with you guys, we have been having it just like y'all have been having it. You know, and just like everybody wants to know what's next, and what's next is is this fortification so that we can collectively come together. We don't have time to gossip. If you got to pull a sister to the side, pull her to the side and give her some encouraging, loving critique if necessary. This is not a time to bash. This is a time to lift one another up in the most ginormous of ways.
Yeah.
And I am excited for what's next. I feel like Lucinda feels in regards to this has been one of the best business years for me. I feel so grown in my business right now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I just do. I feel clear and certain about why I'm here and the needle I'm meant to push. I feel protected from the standpoint of, I know God is looking out for me while I am being boisterous, and I am one of those people that doesn't mind advocating for those who do not have a voice. And so I feel very strong right now in my position as a woman, in my position as a leader, in my position as a Black American.
Yeah.
I just feel super strong in it, and we want you all to feel our strength. So even if some of you all have been feeling weary and I don't know which way to turn, we hope that this is giving you some focus that you need. For those of you who are tired of explaining to people that are not Black what it's like to be Black, I'm sending you some fortitude as well. You know, for those of you who have been having hard conversations with your families, we hope that this is the beginning of something that you can sit down with your family, with your husband, your wife, your kids, your cousins, whoever, and have conversations about how are we going to strengthen what's happening in these four walls up in here.
Right.
In your
life. Right.
You know, because that's what this is about. Because when you can strengthen that, then that means when we go out, you, your family, your cousin, your son, your daughter, your sister, your friends, when they go out into the community and they are taking that strength out there, demonstrating. And sidebar, I have to say this. Anybody who's white that's watching, if you want to know what you can do, people keep saying, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. We don't need you to say nothing. Let me just open the fucking curtain and just tell you, we don't need you to say anything. What we need you to do is demonstrate what you say you believe.
That's good.
So if you believe that Black Lives Matter, demonstrate that. We don't need you to say anything. We don't need a perfectly scripted performance script posted on your social media to prove that you stand with us. Just be a good fucking person.
That's right.
What she said.
That part.
Just give opportunities fairly to people that
give opportunities.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's right.
Just be a good human being. Just donate to not only your cause. Just when you look at your marketing, make sure it's representative of what you say you believe and who you say you serve.
Right.
But to say anything means nothing. We need no words.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure that I said that before I hung this up, because that's important to me. I don't need people to come up with something beautiful to say, because it does nothing for all of the years. It does nothing for all of the experiences. It does nothing for the man that was lynched in California. It does nothing for that. Your demonstration and your actions does everything. You standing up for what you say you believe in does everything. And when you don't, please trust and believe and know that we know and we notice and we are taking note. But you don't have to say nothing. And Black folks, stop demanding white folks say something to satisfy some shit that can't even be satisfied through no words.
Yeah. And I think I would just add to that. And again, I'm going to go back to the quote that was shared on my podcast. Stop looking out the window, and out the window are all of the stuff that's going on, and start looking in the mirror. fortify yourself, understand your worth and your value, right? I preach a lot about seeing yourself the way that God sees you, because if you saw yourself the way that God sees you, you wouldn't be trying to get their approval or permission. You would just be being and leveraging the platform that you have right now to show up differently in the world. You don't have to prove to anybody who you are, but you will continue to prove who you are if you don't believe in and of yourself. You are worth it and you deserve it. That's why you guys are spending time and energy in places you don't need to be spending time and energy. So look in the mirror and figure out, going all the way back to what Doreen said earlier, how to do your personal work, whether it's on your money mindset, whether it's on how you were raised. I call it your inner 7-year-old. Dismantle the tapes that have been running in your mind, have been creating the patterns and the generational curses that you have been living under for ages. Do the work on those things so that all of this other stuff ceases to matter, so that you can just show up and advocate for what's important for you as a person that is a Black person or a white person. If you say, to April's point, that you care about the things that we care about. Show us more than you tell us, because we don't really care about the lip service. We need action. We need activation more than ever, because anybody can say something that sounds good. And it's the time to stop talking and be what it is that you want to see. And it starts with you. It starts with you doing the work. That's where it starts.
Yeah. Danielle, I have one last thing, right? I always have one last thing, but this is for our Black families. Start positioning this next generation to be our next doctors. And we need positions of power. Our next doctors, our next lawyers, our next dentists, our next teachers, our next professors, even our next police officers, our next detectives, our next FBI agents. Because if we're our next judges, right, positioning, us to our next CEOs, entrepreneurship. Yes, this is a part of and a major key to activism. But if we can even work on our community as a whole and start trusting each other and investing even within our own families. I want to invest in the next doctor in my family. I want to so that she can open up a clinic and she can have her facility. I want to invest in the next young entrepreneur in someone else's family who's thinking about opening up their own Black farms and supermarkets. Right. And so, I want to invest in our next, not just our own beauticians and not our next own barbershops. We have those. But where's our next doctors and our clinics and our hospitals and our facilities, and it's not just an our thing, but even positioning our people, talking about Black America, talking about our inner city community, to go to school, educate themselves, even preparing them to be these next teachers, professors, doctors, lawyers, accountants, right? Technologists, scientists. And so I think that's key here, because the more of us that are in those seats, the more we're able to help open the door for another one that looks just like us.
Absolutely. And we're so powerful as a people. I mean, I didn't necessarily want to go here, but I just felt this drop in my spirit. Black history is history. Half the inventions that we are all taking advantage of right now were invented by a Black person. Like, just recognize that you come from amazing stock. When God created you, he was showing the world what incredible looks like. And know that deep down in your bones, know that, and allow that to show through in your businesses, which means you got to stop shortchanging. You got to stop being lazy. You got to show up and show up in excellence so that people take you seriously. If the decision is to be made between your business and a business of someone who is not a person of color, there should be no contest. You should be the only and obvious choice, because you come from kings and queens. Because you are the best who ever did it. Know that. Know it in your bones. Know it in your soul. That's why you got to look in the mirror. That's why you got to speak life to your life. That's why you got to speak life to your children. Tell your children that they can, regardless of what other people are saying. We, all of us, especially, I know most of the people watching are probably women. As mothers of children, it is up to us to speak that life into our children. I don't even have children yet. I'm actively trying to have some children. But right now, As I'm thinking about bringing little Black babies into this world, I'm already erecting a strategy and a plan of how I can teach those children from the time they're nursing on my breast that they matter and that they can do anything and that there's greatness in them and that they have the power to change this world. So we have to make sure that we're using our mouths to speak the life that we are wishing people would give us and stop taking from us right now. Because we all have that within our power to do. Y'all are some bad ass chicks. That was my one curse. I was saving it for that moment. Y'all bad. So stop acting like you not. Stop letting them dismiss you and lead you to believe that something in you is not worthy. You are more than enough. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to go to Doreen because she hasn't said anything in a while. If you are questioning who you are and you need to be fortified, if you have a Bible, I don't care whether you believe or you say, I don't care about any of that. But what I do want you to do is I want you to go look at the book of Ephesians. It's in the New Testament if you need help finding it. And I want you to read Ephesians chapter 1. And it will tell you all that God created for you to be. And give you an opportunity to start walking that stuff out in every area of your life. Because right now, who you are, when God, Jeremiah 1:5 said, before you were formed in your mother's womb. So before your mom and your dad got busy, God knew you and he approved you and he gave you a purpose and he called you prophets before your mom and dad got busy. Do y'all hear me? I hear an echo in my house. Do y'all hear me? So you were bad to the bone, been bad to the bone before your mom and dad got busy. Stop letting these people take that from you. You were created with purpose, on purpose to solve real problems and be the change that you want to see in the world. And nothing about you needs to change. You are already giving it before your mom and dad got busy. Already. Doreen?
Okay, hold on. Let me just collect myself after all of that.
I know I'm all hot and bothered now.
Let me just say, 2020 is not trash. 2020 has brought us an incredible opportunity through disruption.
Yes.
And as painful as it is, as heartbroken, I mean, I watched that guy's FedEx video yesterday and it broke my heart, right? As heartbreaking as it is, this disruption is an opportunity for us to rise above the ashes in a way that we haven't ever done it before. And so if we take that and we laser focus that into our business, like what disruption do you need to make in your business so that you can produce something greater than you have ever produced before? What hard decisions do you need to make? What shifts do you need to make? What stories do you need to overcome so that you can walk in everything that Darnell just shared? Like you have to walk in it. I want this conversation to not be an aha moment. An aha moment is called a moment for a reason. It means that you got chills. It means that you were like, yes, you put some comments in the chat. But then 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, a week later, this conversation is somewhere down the line and you done moved on to another Facebook Live. And so I want this moment to be transforming. And so I just want to challenge you. What do you need to disrupt in your business? Like hands down, I'm going to go all in because there is greater. July 1st starts the last 6 months of this year. You can shift everything in your life in 6 months.
Yes.
You can shift your money. You can shift your health. You can shift where you live, what you drive. You can shift the philanthropy that you do. You can
I'm just saying, you know,
everything.
Everything in your life can shift in 6 months. But you got to be willing to do the work. And you got to be willing to show up. And you got to be willing to be in integrity. And you got to be willing to do what's difficult. And you got to be willing to face those childhood fears and stories that you've been telling yourself. Because when it's all said and done, this isn't about us. It's not about you. It's not about what's on your marketing page or your bio. It's about the impact that you were able to make because of how you showed up in the world. That's my challenge to you.
Yeah, that's good.
Danielle, you want to close us out so we can go?
Yeah, I'm going to close us out with prayer. Because I feel like that's the only thing left to do. It's just to pray.
Glory.
So clear your hearts and your minds. Lord God, we just come before you to say thank you. Thank you, God. God, I thank you for everyone who's currently under the sound of my voice, God. I thank you for willing them to show up for this conversation, Lord. And I just ask right now that what they've heard, not just be what they heard, but they indoctrinate it in their spirit and they begin to take action, right? James said that faith without works is dead. I say we must give you something to bless. May what we have shared, these beautiful ladies, April, Doreen, Lucinda, and myself, what we have shared, we pray right now that they would take what we have shared and they would work on it, God. And that the work that they do, you would bless it. You said that there is no thing that you will withhold from them that walk uprightly. So God, we thank you in advance for every need being exceeded. We thank you for the abundance, God. We thank you for the increase right now, God. We thank you for the coming together for ourselves and our families and our communities, God. We thank you for the ability to advocate. We thank you for the ability to build strong businesses. We praise you right now for new clients and new opportunities and new revenue. God, we praise you right now for the next 6 months, the opportunity to change everything. God, we love you. We honor you. We thank you. We praise you. We ask right now in the mighty, mighty, matchless name of Jesus that you do all of this and even the things that we couldn't utter in our spirits because you know us better than we know ourselves. We love you. We honor you. We thank you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. We just want to thank you guys for coming to hang out with us, for allowing us an opportunity to speak what's on our hearts for you and to offer some insight to help you to be better and stronger and even more epic, radical, activated and incredible in everything that it is that you do on this planet. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Make sure you share and rewatch this if necessary.